Hi there. Today we're going to be talking about thousandths, and you'll look at the cube there. That is the giant cube with all of the pieces. If we had single cubes, there would be 1,000 of them, so that's why it's called thousandths. We're going to start with our math message today. If we take a look at number 1, if we have one big cube, how many flats would that be equal to? 10. So one flat is 1/10 of a big cube. Let's look at number 2. If we have one big cube, how many longs is that equal to? Well, it's going to be 10 longs across, right? Make up a flat, and we've got a giant cube, so there's 10 flats. So it would be 10 times 10. Or 100 longs. One long is equal to what fraction of a big cube? It would be 1 out of 100. Number 3, we have one big cube. How many small cubes, little centimeter cubes, would that be? We're going to take 10 times 100, which is going to give us 1,000 cubes. One cube is equal to what fraction of a big cube? It will be 1 out of 1,000. So our vocabulary for this lesson is pretty easy. We just need to remember that whenever we see the 1, that is equal to the whole. And sometimes that 1 might change. Okay? Alright, so if we have the thousandths cube is the 1, and we have a decimal like the one written below, the 0 is going to represent how many wholes we have. And in this instance, we don't have any whole cubes, so we have 0 big cubes. Our 2 in the tenths place is going to represent 2 flats. Our 3 is going to represent 3 longs, and our 5 is going to represent 5 single cubes. So I want you to read aloud this decimal. Did you say 0 and 581 thousandths? If you did, that would be correct. What about this one? 0 and 72 thousandths. How about this one? 0 and 6 thousandths. What about this one? Oh, we've got a whole number, so we're going to say 3 and 703 thousandths. Okay, we're going to write in decimal notation this time. So decimal notation is when we have all of our digits with a decimal point. So we won't have any words. So if I give you 367 and then I write in words thousandths, what am I going to write in decimal notation? We're going to write 0, decimal point, 367. Okay, and we would pronounce that 0 and 367 thousandths. If we take a look at the next one, we have 51 and the word thousandths written out. How would we write that in decimal notation? We would write 0, decimal point, 051. And we would pronounce that as 0 and 51 thousandths. Let's take a look at the last one. I've written out in words 9 and 634 thousandths. How do we write that in decimal notation? We would write 9 and 634 thousandths. Okay, sometimes you're going to have a fraction that you're going to have to write in decimal notation. And in this instance, we have 403 over 1,000. So we would write that as 0.403, and that is 0 and 403 thousandths. Let's take a look at the mixed number that we have. How would we write that? Don't forget that whole number. So we would write 7.06, so that equals 7 and 6/100ths. Okay, and the next one we have 363 and 3/10ths. How would we write this one? 363.3 is the same as 363 and 3/10ths. So to summarize what we've done today, we have looked at and worked on the value of the thousandths place with decimals, and we practiced how to write and say those decimals correctly. If you have questions, make sure to write them down, bring them to class. Thanks for watching.